whenever you are with someone, point out something that you appreciate in the other, because those words, I'm so proud of you, I believe in you, and I love you, can make a difference in the life of someone so they don't have to go through that doubting process for too long, that they actually know that because others believe so much that they're investing their heart and soul in you, that you are special and beautiful and unique in God's eyes and in many others, and that you have something beautiful to share with the world. So do that and never give up on your dreams.
Hello and welcome to Along the Way Life's Journey. I'm your host, Carl Buccellato. Let's get the next journey started. Hello everyone and welcome to Along the Way Life's Journey. You know, I've traveled millions of miles throughout this world. I've met many people, and everyone I meet has a story. And their story seems to be effects of people, places, and things that have impacted their lives, and how it's helped to encourage them and challenge them to be more than they are themselves. And doing so, many people have turned around and done the same for others. And this is the story of life. And this is why I wanted to do this podcast. I wanted us to talk about how we impact and affect one another's lives and how we can encourage and inspire people to go on to be greater than they are on their own. I know it worked for me. It helped me to be a better person. It encouraged me and helped me to change my life. So today we're going to have a very interesting lady on. This lady, her name is Meg Nocero, and she has been both the recipient and the giver of this great blessing of inspiration to others. She has received greatly from many people, and she will tell you about that. But she's also gone on to become a very effective person who, in her way, has reached out to scores of people on an ongoing basis and given them the inspiration to be more than they are, to reach for their shining star, to go on and to become better than they are. So Meg is an award-winning author. She's an inspirational TEDx speaker, an empowerment coach, an attorney, former federal prosecutor for the Department of Homeland Security. Wow, you talk about an effective person. This is an effective person. She's a graduate of Boston College, the University of Miami. She received her law degree at St. Thomas University. She's married, mother of two. Her goals are to become a New York best-selling author, if she hasn't already. I can't imagine that. She probably has. Write a novel all about Italian Americans, my home people. Adapt her story to a play on Broadway. And again, I say, wow, this is an amazing person. She's a best-selling author, having written many books. Her latest is a heart-wrenching novel entitled Butterfly Awakens, which parallels her own life story. She is constantly active on Manifesting with Peg, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, just about everywhere else. And you don't have to worry about writing it down. It'll all be in the story notes. My guest today is Meg Nocero. Meg, welcome to the show.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much, just because it's you. And I know that someone above is smiling over this conversation today, beyond even our imagination. So very exciting, very exciting.
So your life has been one of fulfillment and challenge and growth. You've gone from becoming a prosecuting attorney. You were 20 years a prosecuting attorney, and you had a metamorphosis and inspiration to move you into a different phase of life. And now you've come into becoming a magnificent author, and you've guided people through many podcasts and programs online. You've had the occasion of being saluted by Oprah Winfrey. I mean, how many people can say that? You know? So tell us a little bit about you.
You know, it's always the becoming that gets me excited. I really do believe that if we're not evolving in this life, where we get lost and we get confused and we get stuck. And I have always been an aspirational person. I set out a lot of really tangible goals and some intangible that I know that are clearly possible as long as I keep my eye on the prize. And certainly I've been very blessed, like you said, in many ways. I've had opportunities that I have been the recipient of opportunities because of other people that you're included in that group And I am grateful. And I think the month of gratitude dictates that one of the most incredible tools in my arsenal is to always go back to the gratitude component, where I really am grateful for the blessings in my life. I'm grateful that I am determined to keep going. I'm grateful that I'm inspired by others who give me that to help me keep going, because I think that's really important, that we don't walk this journey of life alone. And as far as I'm concerned, just my books, I felt like kind of they poured out of me. And as an author yourself, you understand that channeling experience where what you need, you seek, and then perhaps in turn receive that as well. The words that come out that become a memoir, a rendition of your life story, helping other people tell their life story and maybe shifting it to something even better. So that is kind of where I play. I like to inspire other people to come alive to the beauty of their dreams, because I really enjoy being around inspired people who are excited about what is unfolding in life. And, to be a part of that whole karmic give and take, the divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, God's blessings on my life, is really, really something that I feel like, maybe that's really my purpose here, walking this earth and basically shining light where people didn't see it before. And then also receiving the light, because I need it too. So it's a crazy time we're living in now. And I don't forget that we are in connection to each other, the collective, and we're better off together when we help each other. So that's kind of where I'm playing right now, wondering, with faith, obviously I have that component in my life too, like strong faith that, keep believing in myself. And, I kind of feel like in many ways that if I don't believe in myself, I'm kind of turning my back on those people who invested so much in me. So I really don't have, a choice at times.
And the gift that God gave you. I mean, I came to that resolution myself, that when I don't favor myself and what I'm able to do and able to reach out to other people, I'm denying a gift that God put inside of me.
Yes.
This wasn't by my own device. It's something that the higher power gave to me, and you as well, We have to relish the fact that we're not here alone, as you said, and we're not supposed to live alone. We're supposed to intermingle with other people and to improve this world. Certainly now, I don't want to get into any political conversation because I'm not going to do that. But what's going on in the world today needs people to reach out and embrace and encourage other people. That's exactly what we need in this world. We need people to communicate. We need people to guide and to move along and just give inspiration. And you're certainly doing that in 100 different ways. I mean, my goodness, how do you have the time to do it all?
Well, I had to resign from my job to even begin to start embarking on this path. And I just felt like at a certain point in time that it was time. I do like to believe that I try to be conscious more than numb, because I think the alternative is really kind of when your light is not very bright and you're hiding away and just want to just exist, which is not something that comports with what I want to do in this world. And I have had experiences walking through dark nights of the soul, if you want to speak to that, the St. John of the Cross. And I really do believe that, at the end of the day, if I choose to have the perspective that life is rigged in your favor, a la Rumi's quote, then I get to choose how I see my world. So if I feel like I'm not having time, they always say, when you feel like you don't have time to sit still, then you probably need more time to sit still, that 30 minutes where you can just get calm so you can see what's in front of you. And I think that has really served me well when I do, against my very inherent nature, because I don't sit still, and you don't either. So you understand what I'm saying, No. And it's very challenging because you feel like there's so much to do in this world and in this life and, just to experience. But, when I feel like I'm burning two ends of the candle, so to speak, I need to sit down and I need to okay, I need to get still. What do I want to accomplish in my life so I can have accomplishments? And how do I want to show up in the world? And I think that fine tunes that other side of what can happen or come through me, which is easier. Back to politics. I'm not going to bring it up, but politics, the Latin root is people.
That's right.
And it's all about people, not devices.
Right. Unfortunately, we've lost the measure of what that really is supposed to be. It's become power people. And That's not what it is. It's supposed to be people reaching out to people and communicating and forming the community of people. We used to call it the body of Christ in our community.
Yes.
And, it's the same thing, that we have to become part of a community of people, which means we reach out to one another and we embrace each other and support each other as we go forward. And it's become polarized, and that's a sad thing.
You make the difference. You make the difference by having conversations where you welcome people in any respect. So, that is, and comes back to the point where, everything that you're supposed to do is unfolding right before you. If you can at least surrender to that and not try to change what's happened and try to move forward by being present, then, it definitely is more empowering to do something.
So I have to tell you, you did two things. You did many things, but you did two things that I really admire and I've wanted to do. One of them, I followed you because of your inspiration. I finally got down and did the book. You did yours first. I did mine later. Mine was a compilation of years and years of journal. But you gave me an inspiration to say, okay, I'm going to go do it. The other thing that you did, and I've always wanted to do, is the Camino de Santiago. I've always wanted to do that. I don't know if I can physically do it anymore at my age, but tell us about that. That's a thrilling thing.
So it's interesting. There's a beautiful quote by Mary Oliver. It's Living a Conscious Life. It says, pay attention, be astonished, and tell all about it. Well, I play in the pay attention. And and back to just the gist of the memoir, it's all about how I got through the death of my mother. And after I was coming out of the grieving process, a lot of the different books that I read, by the way, congratulations on publishing yours. That's a huge feat. And it's a necessary feat because your story needs to be told. For me, it was reading those stories of other people to inspire me to see how I could use that inspiration to move me forward. I'm a huge reader. Well, I found these books by Paulo Coelho. The Pilgrimage came up. It's about the spiritual journey through the Camino. Right. And for whatever reason, I felt compelled. I felt like I want to do that too, because I really love the idea of something mystical happening in my life, something that can't be explained in the here and now. It's a faith component. And for me, I wanted to find a message that I got at my mother's deathbed. Basically, I saw this lighthouse. And I found the lighthouse. I read the book. I went to look at the Camino. What is this all about? Apparently, back in the 8th century is when people started to walk the Camino to kind of cleanse themselves from what they consider to be their sins and renew into this new life as they walk their way to Santiago, which is St. James, the saint who was there at the Last Supper with Jesus, where his remains are held. And back then, it was the story that they brought the remains to Spain and all of these people in this pilgrimage during a time in the Middle Ages when it was craziness. And we think craziness now, but I wouldn't want to be alive back then. But they all would find their way on this spiritual journey. Well, I was reading this book, The Pilgrimage. I went and looked at the Camino. At the end of the Camino is this beautiful lighthouse, the lighthouse that I saw in this vision at her bedside. So I was like, without rhyme or reason, I'm like, I got to figure out how I'm going to get myself to walk on the Camino. And, I start paying attention, having the conversations. One thing led to another. One of my dear, very good friends is an adventurer traveler. And she and I started talking. I said, what do you think? Well, we need to get 16 other people to join us. People started to show up. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. I had never any inclination in my life to ever do any sort of hike. In fact, I really did not investigate what it would take. So to your point, yeah, exactly. You laugh now. I laugh at myself because I'm like, for someone who lives in research and law and knowing the case and knowing what's going to come at you before you go to court, just showing up with that, kind of relinquishing all control, other than the fact that I knew where I was flying to, who was going to be on it, what I needed at least tangentially, like the sticks. I didn't even know what I was going to use the sticks for. I had no idea. It's like, what are these? But everyone says bring them, so I'll bring them. That component. And I was just like, okay, just show up and do it, so I could get this message at the lighthouse at the end. So, I will say this: wow, the lessons that I have learned from that 6 days, and one of the most beautiful things I can tell you is that I'm still on this Camino. I still feel like I'm on this great Camino of life. It's so much more than the walk, but the walk was the beginning of that part of my journey.
Right. It was your entree. It was
my entree.
That's
oh,
right.
and believe me, I had some mystical things happen. Like I was looking for the signs, and the beautiful signs that would come only if I have a belief in beyond the veil. So, whether you believe or not is not really up to me. That's your path. That's your journey. That's your way you walk. For me, I was needing those messages at that time, for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing how God gives us things when we need them, when we can see and hear them and understand them. There are many, many times in my life, I know a message was presented, but I was too dumb to see it. And later on in life, broken a little bit, he brings me back to the same place and says, okay, pay attention this time. I'm going to tell you again.
Oh, I love that.
And I hear it that time. I know it.
Someone said to me once, this is perfect, right? God doesn't care if you believe in God or not. He believes in you. And right. He didn't give up. He kept giving you the message. He's like, well, maybe this guy's going to listen now, right? Or when it's a little bit more fine-tuned, but we always get the messages when we're ready to receive them. Even if at that first time it's too early, then later, we're more ready, more willing. And I think that's the beauty of life. Yeah.
I spent a lot of years not liking myself very much and believing that I was not capable of doing better things in my life. And I went on a retreat once it had to be in the mid-'80s in Florida in the Episcopal retreat grounds. And I was with Pete Mitchell. Remember Pete Mitchell? Father Pete?
Yeah, Father Mitchell,
we went on the retreat, and it was all men, and we were doing these things. And there's a session on the weekend, kind of like, the encounter with Christ and that kind of thing that you have on the encounter weekends. And so there was something going on where I got this scripture that I was reading, and it was, I interpreted it as a love letter from God to me. And I went out to be alone by myself out by the lake, and I sat down on this tree trunk, and I realized after sitting there for a while, I must have passed that tree 100 times over the weekend, never really looked at it. The tree had been hit by lightning and was split in half. And it was laying horizontal, and new shoots had come up from its front, growing up to reach the sun. And I was sitting on that. Tree, and the sun opened up. It was an overcast day. The sun opened up just as I recognized that, and it came down on me. And I said, "Okay, I got the message. I understand. I understand."
Well, it's interesting because we take for granted that we find ourselves and those messages so deeply in nature. And one of the things of the Camino that really spoke to me is that I was one with nature because I was walking and surrounded by it. And we live our lives so quickly, cars and moving from our car to the AC in Miami and, all of these things. And we forget that we really are a part of this, what you just said, sitting on a trunk that we never saw before, and admiring the fact that there's always that desire in nature to regrow, to recover, to rebirth ourselves. And the beautiful thing when the sun shines is what it needs. I got goosebumps when you were saying that, because, what a beautiful experience, a profound experience that really obviously impacted you to bring it up now that, we could all revel in. Because it is, and maybe someone needed to hear that.
Yeah. I love doing these shows because I have an opportunity to share with people that do such amazing things in their life, like yourself. And we talk a little bit about the amazing things. We talk about the accomplishments that the world looks at as amazing. And then we get down into two human beings just sharing the heart, the emotion of what's happening, Yeah. And I love this part of the show. My mission was when my publicist said, okay, your book's getting a lot of attention. People are calling. Let's do a podcast. I said, okay, but the podcast is not going to be about the book. I'll give you 3 minutes about the book at the end of the podcast. I want the mission of this show to be people talking about how others have inspired them or they have inspired others and how we made a difference in each other's life. And that's, to me, what this is supposed to be about. So I hope you're finding that and enjoying it.
That is what life is all about, right? These kind of conversations, heartfelt and true and honest and authentic, for sure.
Right. We'll chat a couple of minutes more. I'm going to give you an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say, and we'll remind everyone that in the show notes will be all your contacts and where they can reach you. They don't have to write them down, where they can find what you're doing with your books and your podcasts and what you're promoting at the moment. Your website, it'll all be in the show notes. I have to be transparent. You're seeing that I have a tremendous relationship with this young woman. I have to tell you that's because I know her since she's 3 years old. So like one of my kids, and I love her dearly, and I've known her family forever, and I love them dearly. And so just so that's clearly understood, okay? So, Meg, what would you like to tell the people as a close?
You know, in the season of Thanksgiving, I would hope that instead of looking for things to complain about, I would hope that we all come to the table looking for things that we're grateful for, and especially with regard to the people who are in our lives. Like you are family to me, and your family is family to me. And I am beyond grateful of your impact in my life. And I do see that as a gift. And I'm grateful for those who've gone before us, who've left us, like my mother and her impact on my life. And she was a force. And all the lessons and gifts that I've learned and the wisdom I've gained, I'm grateful for the opportunity to see what I can do in this world and have these conversations. And I just would say this, as you sit with your families around the table, whenever that is, whenever you are with someone, point out something that you appreciate in the other, because those words, I'm so proud of you, I believe in you, and I love you, can make a difference in the life of someone so they don't have to go through that doubting process for too long, that they actually know that because others believe so much that they're investing their heart and soul in you, that you are special and beautiful and unique in God's eyes and in many others, and that you have something beautiful to share with the world. So do that and never give up on your dreams.
I love that. You know, I have a scripture that I try to live my life with. It's Romans 5:21, and it says, "March on, my soul, be strong." And that's something that I say to myself every day. You know, I'm almost 80 years old, so I get my weak spots in the middle of the day. And I keep saying to my wife, it's because I'm Italian, I have to take my siesta. It's because I'm getting older. You know? But I have to I don't really have to remind myself, but I have to speak the words. I personally have to speak the words out loud. March on, my soul, be strong. It's what God has given us. It's what we have to do in life. I want to thank you for joining us today and being part of the show. I hope it resonated with you. It certainly did with me. This has been a great, great hour for me. I've just loved every minute of it. I could do days and days with this young woman. I find her so amazing. And I want to remind everyone that, you know, it only takes a few moments to write down your story, because you have a unique story. No one has that story but you. It's only yours. Write it down, preserve it, share it with your family, make it part of your legacy, because if you don't, it will be lost forever. Share it with the world. Everyone needs it. God bless you all. Say I love you to someone today. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning into the show. I hope that it resonated with you. It certainly did with me. And I hope it encouraged you to realize the true power of your story. As a reminder, new episodes will be released Wednesday mornings on your favorite podcast apps, and also on YouTube as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn your notification button on to ensure that you receive updates on new episode releases. I'm grateful for your reviews and your support. The love is certainly felt. Keep it coming. You can reach out to connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or stop by my website, toeverypageofturning.com. All links are clickable in the show notes for quick access. Do you think that you or someone you know may be our most inspiring guest yet? Let's hope so. Click on our contact page and get in touch on my website and share your story. I look forward to reading each one personally. My best-selling book, To Every Page of Turning, which was published by Mascot Books, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and many more popular book retailers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Till next time, remember that every day is a new opportunity to write your new page in your incredible journey. And it is incredible. You're the only one who has it.